Welcome to the Empowering Choices Parenting Podcast. My name is Joshua.
I'm Erik.
I am Lucas.
Erik and Lucas are licensed professional counselors. We have created an online community with a website and an app full of parenting resources and courses. Most importantly, all of this is centered around a private community where you can share your struggles with us and others. If you are interested in joining, please check out our website at empoweringchoices.community or search for our app in the App Store by searching Empowering Choices. For a small monthly fee, you receive everything I talked about and you help support the show. Plus, every time someone purchases a membership, we gift a membership on your behalf to someone who otherwise could not afford it. All right, now on with today's show.
Last week, we kind of talked about a couple of funny situations in our podcast and, involved some situations with kids. And this week, we've got another, kind of funny situation. This one kind of comes out of my life and my childhood. But it works with some very key principles in being a human being. And one of those principles is emulation.
Okay, so for our audience who may not know what that word
means. What is that?
I'm ready right here. I've got it here with the dictionary. So emulation, effort to match or surpass a person or achievement, typically by imitation.
So knowing you definitely tried to surpass whatever it was you were imitating.
Oh, I'm sure I did. Yeah, exactly. And so one of the main ways that human children learn is by emulating the parents, the care providers, and the adults in the world around them. This is why you see, maybe your toddler walking around in your slippers and trying to, wear your robe, even though it may be, like dragging 4 feet down the hallway behind them. Or they may be wearing your cowboy boots and a diaper and your hat, and kind of walking around, if that's what, a parent wears.
Or how many children do we know, including my own, who absolutely want to try to eat your cell phone?
Right.
I mean, that is the most important. They're like, ooh, mommy's phone. Give me.
Yep.
And then for the age of my kid, then eat it. But
right. And that works perfectly because, they're not exactly going to be able to get on there, which is good, and operate the things, the way we're operating them. But they know that's important to the parent. And
I think her behavior surpasses mine when it comes to using the phone. You said emulation surpasses the original. Eating it's definitely more.
So she's already surpassing the time on your phone than you are. Yeah. Okay. So she has more time to eat it because you're not on it the way that you could suck up that time. But
that's a really bad pun in this context.
Oh well, it might be, but it just life has funny things, and that's kind of what we're hitting on. And so I'll shift a little bit back to my story here. Because when I was a kid, my mom took us to church, Presbyterian church at first, and then the Baptist church. And I can't remember which one we were in at the time, but they had a baptism Sunday. And so, they had a bunch of people and kids that were going up there and they were getting baptized, and I did not understand what exactly was happening.
How old were you at the time?
Somewhere around 7 is what I'm going to say. Because I remember the house, the house we lived in, because we moved into the town that we lived in when I was 5. And we didn't live in that first house very long, but by the time I was 7, we were over on N Avenue. And my dad only kept us in the house for 5 years because that's how long it took him to remodel the house the way he wanted, and then he needed a new project. And so it was probably around 7. And I'm seeing what I'm seeing, and I'm understanding that whatever they're doing by going into the water, it's connected to heaven. And that part I got. It's heaven and water and baptism. And so I thought, okay, that's really cool. That's really cool. I think everything in my life should, get a chance to be connected to heaven. And you're laughing. I like this. And
well, I looked ahead at the notes, so I know where this is going.
Yeah, right. Because this is a story that you haven't heard before or anything. And so when I got home, I don't know if it was that day or it was, somewhere, later in the week, but we had a mama cat that had kittens. And their eyes were open. You could pick them up, you could play with them. And I had just decided that those kittens needed to be a part of heaven. And so I gathered them all up and I went into the bathroom.
The story has a happy ending, right, Eric? The kittens don't drown, do they?
Oh, no.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I know, but that wouldn't mean they'd be able to go to heaven, right?
That was not how you were thinking about it.
Exactly, that was not how it.
Yeah.
They
I'm
got
just
to.
checking.
The people didn't drown when they went into the water at church.
Okay, this is good.
This is good.
In and out.
In and out. Yes,
And we know that cats love water.
they so do.
So-
Yes, but they. You know what? Some of those people didn't love water. At least they didn't look like they loved water. And it's just a small sacrifice, that they would need to do. Because what I heard was you only need to do it once, And so I'm like, okay, this is cool. They're kittens, they'll be okay, And so I'm in there in the bathroom. I close the bathroom door.
Because there's water in the bathroom. This makes sense.
It does. It makes perfect sense. I didn't really want to draw a bath, I thought about it, but it wasn't bath time. So,
True.
Okay.
So it became a church.
It became a church. Yes. And, there is standing water in there. And I just figured, well, okay, that'll work, standing water. I shut the bathroom door. I wasn't trying to hide what I was doing because I didn't think I was doing anything wrong, but I didn't want the mama cat involved.
Why would the mama cat involved be the problem?
Well, because just in case the little kittens they're little kittens, so they cry. They call for mom. They're
So
still
even
pretty
though
young.
you were saving their eternal kitten souls,
Yes.
they might cry out and that'd make
Yeah.
mama cat mad.
Well, and it might not make her mad, but she might take them back to their bed. I couldn't have that. We weren't done yet.
Had to baptize them.
We had to baptize them,
Yeah.
because this is what adults do, right? Okay. And this translates over into this is what needs to happen to my kittens. I love my kittens. They were awesome. They were such cute, furry little, kittens, and we played a lot, and it was awesome. I wanted to make sure they were completely protected, So I closed the door to keep mom cat out because she was already following. And then I got in there and I, got down by the toilet and I was the faces here. I got down and I reached over, I pulled the kitten over the toilet and I said as close to the words that I remembered them saying, which, was something to the nature of in the name of God, Spirit, Holy, whatever it is, I now dunk you.
Wow.
Right. And they
Wow.
went. Well, and it went. And then, of course, it's like really meowing.
I bet.
So the volume in that bathroom went up.
Yeah.
It did go up just a bit, and I was ready. I had a towel out. I then brought them out. That's what they did in the baptism. The people would go out of the baptism and you wouldn't see the other people, but there was a magic towel that came out and wrapped around them. And so, okay, I'm assuming that's more than magic, but because I'm only 7, I decided to have the towel ready to go too. And so I would put them down into the towel and I would get them all dry. And then I would go for his brother. And then I would, say the very same things. And then I would dunk them in. and then I would bring them out. And I was feeling really good about I was saving the kittens. And then all of a sudden, I'm down to like my last one and I have it over.
How many were there?
I think there was like 5.
Wow.
Yeah. And my mom opened the door. and she just was looking at me. And the mama cat rushed in and I was like, no, keep her out. And my mom was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm baptizing the kittens.
As though that wasn't obvious, Mom.
Right. I'm like, I'm baptizing the kittens. And she's like, she stood there. She's looked at me. And then she was like, she stepped out for a minute. I think she lost it in the hallway silently. And then she came back in and she went, okay, we're done. We're going to let Mama Cat have her kittens back because she really needs to clean them well now.
Yes.
So from adult perspective,
Yeah.
you wonder if she stepped out and laughed silently to herself and then had to put mom face back on.
Oh, I think she lost it. Yeah. I think she totally lost it there as she found me because I'm like, and I was actually mad. I'm like, one, why did you let the mama cat in? Like she knew what I was doing. And she's like, the mama cat's the one that told me where to go.
Oh, because Mama Cat was probably
Yeah.
losing it out in the hallway.
Yeah, ready to come in.
Yep. She was out the door. She was like meowing. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. But I'm like, why are you stopping me? And I'm like, I'm just trying to send them to heaven. Well, I mean, I'm just trying to make sure they can go to heaven. And she's like, yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Yes.
And I'm like, it did when we were at church. And she goes, okay, well, that's what we do with people. But as you notice, there were no animals in that line. Like, oh, yeah. Yeah, there weren't any animals in that line.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it now.
Right. But it just, was like, oh, well, okay. And that's one of the things in a child's thinking. It's very concrete. I saw people that people cared about. I didn't know any of them. But people out there were smiling or happy or clapping or, they were attached to these people who were going into the water. And so they were happy when they came out of the water. And I figured that, there was something to that. So they love these people and they're trying to be a part of them going to heaven. Therefore, I love my kittens. And I was going to be happy in helping them be attached to heaven.
Did you get punished for this?
I did not get punished for this.
Wow.
My mom understood my reasoning. She understood what she was saying. And she's like, okay, I get it. I get it. You work with me and we'll take the cats back to the cat place they should be.
And you did pick the dirtiest water source in the bathroom. You do realize that, right?
As an adult, but then go back as a kid.
It was convenient.
True, it was low to the ground.
It was low to the ground.
Already.
It was my
Okay,
level.
okay.
It didn't take a half an hour to fill it up,
see.
in
Yeah.
theory.
Yeah, I see.
You know?
You didn't need a stool to get up to the sink. or-
Exactly. And I wouldn't have needed a stool. I thought about the sink.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's
Yeah.
actually more comfortable sitting down on the floor and just kind of kneeling.
Yeah.
So there was some thought process that went to this, not the thought process of this is the dirtiest water in the house. that process was not, because that was not in my mind as a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
And no one had ever said this is the dirtiest water in the house. I just never saw anyone drink out of it except maybe the dog occasionally.
And if the dog drank out of it, then why couldn't the kitten go into it?
Yeah.
Right.
The dog was fine.
Right. And so, I think that is a really good example of, what emulation is in the life of a child. And that's one of those things we have to look for as parents.
And I think it's also probably important to note that your mom did not punish you for this admittedly kind of strange behavior. And I think that's probably a good takeaway as well, is your child's going to do things that
Right.
that's just something we need to talk about. That's not something you go into timeout for.
Right. Exactly.
You've been listening to the Empowering Choices Parenting Podcast. If you have enjoyed this show, we would encourage you to visit our website at empoweringchoices.community. For a small monthly fee, we offer a website full of parenting courses and resources. You also have the ability to connect with parents going through the same struggles you are in a safe and private environment. Every time you purchase a membership to our site, we give away a membership to a parent in financial need. Help yourself become a better parent while helping others gain access to important parenting materials by supporting our podcast. Check us out at empoweringchoices.community or in the App Store by searching Empowering Choices. We'll see you on our next episode.